the great thing about John.
Fab. Long, long, long time ago when we was fab. Not going to overstay my welcome here. Ooh, untimely death.
Souls.
And a 5, and a 4, and a 3, and a 2, and a 1. Live and interactive. Oi! Get your haircut!
Wish I had hair to get a haircut, John, but welcome to Monday's show, folks. Hope you all had a lovely weekend. You're tuned into movie news, of course, here at MBE, and I'm joined, as always, with John C. Walsh. Hello, John. Did you have a nice weekend?
It was fabulous, Stephen. Fabulous.
Working away as usual.
Had champagne. I rattled half a bottle of champagne yesterday, so it's not all bad.
Was that us celebrating our 4,000 subscribers?
No, it's just an excuse to get pissed, Stephen, really. As us Scots like to do.
As you said, John, we are live and interactive here on our YouTube channel. We'd like to thank you once again for joining us, and of course on our Twitch stream, where we don't have 4,000 subscribers, but we'll get there one day. And we're going to kick off the show, John. I don't know how it works, actually, this whole subscription thing. Yeah, you know more about Twitch than me. I don't understand the whole thing about giving credits and stuff like that. Don't really understand it, but John...
Yes, bits and tips.
Yeah, bits.
Follows and subscriptions. I subscribe to too many people on Twitch, Stephen. Too many people. It's a bill now. It's too much.
That's what I love about YouTube, John. It's free. Just click the red button to subscribe. Doesn't cost a thing apart from your time. But anyway, we're going to crack on with the show, John. It's Marvel Studios meeting with... Marvel Studios meeting with writers for MCU Fantastic Four movie. This is coming in from Screen Rant, believe it or not. It's not coming in from those little dots that you saw on the screen. And it's Marvel Studios reportedly has started meeting with writers to write the script for the MCU Fantastic Four movie directed by John Watts. Now, that was one of the surprise announcements made by Kevin Feige near the end of 2020, John, when they officially confirmed development is underway on the MCU's Fantastic Four. He revealed that John Watts, director behind Star Wars Homecoming trilogy, is attached to helm the movie, with Watts currently working on Spider-Man Homecoming 3 ahead of a December 2021 release. It will still be a few years before Fantastic Four is released. Now, just a couple of things, John. I know you've got a few questions you want to fire my way, but obviously the search for writers for the Fantastic Four, it's going to take months for a kick-off. Even before John Watts gets his hands on this, Marvel Studios recently hired Stacey Osei Kuffour to write Mahershala Ali's Blade, and it was reported this process took 6 months. It should be expected that Marvel takes their time finding the right writer for Fantastic Four, so it might not be until later this year that a writer is announced. There is no official rush to decide either, since the movie does not yet have a release date, although Fantastic Four is widely believed to be a target for a 2023 release, given Watt's involvement. What's your take on this, John?
Stephen, I'm just happy to see that we're getting a Fantastic Four movie at long last. We did hear, I think it was Joe Russo, speaking about it about 6 months ago. He says we were yet to have the definitive Fantastic Four movie, but it was coming shortly. And again, that's just a hint at the confidence they have in that all-seeing, all-hearing, omnipotent figure that is Kevin Feige, the leader of Marvel at Disney. That the definitive movie will come under his guidance, his tutelage, if you like. I'm just excited to see that we're finally getting a Fantastic Four movie, Stephen. I don't really care who pens it, because I know whoever they bring in to write it will ultimately be the correct person, because they know what they're doing over at Marvel. They know what they're doing at Disney. We've seen that over the last 12 years. We've had more really good Marvel movies than we've had shit. I mean, I can count maybe 3 bad Marvel movies, and even then they're not that bad. They're just personal little quirks that I have with them, the likes of Age of Ultron. I thought it was a bit of a letdown, still good in parts. Iron Man 3, a bit of a letdown, but it had Ben Kingsley, it was still good in parts. And then, of course, for Dark World, it had Chris Hemsworth decapitating people with a hammer and swords and stuff like that. Or just maybe not decapitating people, but killing them. So even Hit had its perks. So I have got extreme confidence that no matter who they get in to write this script, that it will be fantastic. Pardon the pun. We will get a Fantastic Four movie that is definitive. All of it's going to come down to casting as well, Stephen, let's be honest. And I was going to ask you some questions because there has been rumours floating around the rumour mill over the course of the last 2 days that one Jennifer Lawrence may be coming into play. I'm blanking on her name, but it's the sidekick of Reed Richards. As you can see, I'm a huge Fantastic Four fan. Huge.
It's
Invisible
what do you call her? Yes, Sue Storm.
Sue Storm. Rumours that Jennifer Lawrence was coming in. They've now been debunked. And I'm glad they've been debunked, Stephen, because Jennifer Lawrence, I started to detest that character Mystique in the Fox sort of X-Men universe. I detested the way she was phoning in the performances for the last few movies. I don't want to see that in the Marvel side of things. I want people who are youthful, energetic, and up for it. My personal choice is Emily Blunt. We both spoke about it before we came on. She's not so youthful. I think she's older than Jennifer Lawrence, but she ain't past it yet either, man. She's got a long time in her. And I think she'd be the perfect choice. I can't imagine anybody else playing Reed Richards now other than John Krasinski. There's been a lot of talk of Patrick Wilson, but he's obviously playing the stepbrother of Arthur, is it? Aquaman. In the Aquaman franchise. Is he going to jump over from DC to Marvel? I don't think so. So personally, I want to see the husband and wife duo of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. Who do you want to see, Stephen, if you could cast? I mean, I think you're probably along the same wavelength.
I think most people are, John. Krasinski and Blunt. I think it's a match made in heaven. I think we've seen the chemistry they both have got on screen. Obviously, with their own relationship, they have got good on screen chemistry as well. The whole Jennifer Lawrence thing, I'm glad was debunked because I don't really want to see Jennifer Lawrence in another comic book film. For a couple of reasons. Obviously, it's too fresh off the heels of her Mystique character. You're absolutely right, John. I don't think she was that bothered about the character by the last 2 movies. I felt that her character was kind of watered down for the last 2 movies as well to make way for the Jean Grey character. Yep. Obviously in Apocalypse. And then obviously in the last film, Dark Phoenix or whatever it was called.
Dark Phoenix.
Lost interest. I couldn't even care less what it's called.
Minutes at the end. The train sequence was very, very good. The rest of it was shit.
Yeah, I think I probably watched it mostly for Evan Peters, John, and that was it. Everything else was rubbish. But just getting back to that, I'm glad that's been debunked because I don't think Jennifer Lawrence is that interested in doing another comic book franchise now. I think she's been there, she's done it, she's moved on. But I think Krasinski and Blunt, there'll be names getting bandied about between now and obviously when the film's promotion starts. But it's good to see that they are now sitting down with writers, are thinking about who they want to come in to write this first movie. 2023, it's not that far away, John. It's only 2 years. But that's not to say that we won't get the Fantastic Four characters appearing.
Stephen, absolutely, I'm certain that we will get Reed Richards in WandaVision, and I will be mightily disappointed now if we don't. Just getting off on a tangent.
I think you'd be more disappointed if it wasn't John Krasinski.
Yeah. Stephen, I expect him to be the character. He's perfect for it. Perfect. You see it in the thumbnail put together, and in the various fan arts that have been put together. He is tailor-made. He just looks the part in that suit. He's a class actor. And he'd bring his A game to it, and I think he'd be great. And we've seen him alongside Emily Blunt in A Quiet Place. Those two work very well together. The husband and wife. The chemistry is palpable on the screen. I want to see those two on the screen together in the Fantastic Four. The other ones that spring to mind, there's been talk of Zac Efron playing the Human Torch. We spoke about it before we came on. I want Zac to be Adam Warlock. I don't want him to be a Fantastic Four member. And as you rightly said, Stephen, you don't want someone outshining the Reed Richards actor. And I think Zac would outshine John Krasinski in terms of popularity. People want to see his performance. He'd be a distraction, so I don't really want to see him in that specific role. I want him for Adam Warlock. There was talk of John Cena playing the Thing. I would love that. But again, he's tied up with the Suicide Squad, the spin-off series with his character. But I think he's hilarious, and he's getting better as an actor. He's a great guy off the screen. He'd be amazing for the press junkets alone, Stephen, alongside the rest of the actors. He's funny as hell. And he's big. He's 6'2" or something, big guy, so he could certainly play the role.
Yeah, someone like
fan casting.
I think someone along those lines, like Dave Bautista as well, would fit that role. It's probably the most standoutish character of the four for his looks. Anyway, it's when you think of the Fantastic Four, the Thing seems to spring to mind right away. But you're right, John. If and it is a big if Krasinski is going to be Reed Richards, then I can't see them casting Zac Efron in the Johnny Storm. Is that what you call him?
I think so.
No, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Sue Storm, Johnny Storm. I think that's what it's called. I can't see them doing that, John. But I think you're absolutely right. I think I agree that I would rather see him take on the other role. We talked about that a few months ago. And I just think we will get announcements soon, but it's very interesting. It's good to see as well, because I love the Fantastic Four, John. I love the Fantastic Four animated shorts that used to go on Saturday morning here in the UK. Sometimes there was crossovers with Spider-Man, etc. It was like every sort of comic book fans wildest dreams to see these crossovers in animated form. Never mind live action, what we get now. But they were always interesting characters. They call them Marvel's first family. I think that's their sort of unofficial title. And you can see they are a little dysfunctional family. It's like Reed Richards and Sue are like the mum and dad. Yeah. You've got the sort of bratty kid and Johnny. And then you've got the sort of, the misfit, the sort of black sheep of the family, the Thing. But it's always been an interesting sort of concept and angle from these characters. They all pull together and work as a team, but they're all different in different many ways,
Stephen, it's an empowering story as well. It is. It tells you that no matter who you are, what background you come from, what you are in terms of personality, you can club together and have a meaningful impact in life. You can do something that's enriching. It's a cool story, and that's what's always been cool about the Marvel Comics for me. What Stan Lee used to do with obviously Spider-Man, empowering different parts of society in that era, and it's obviously transcended into modern era as well. It's really clever storytelling in those comics, and it's transitioned so well over to cinema in recent years. Final thing I would say, Stephen, Stacey Ossie Kafur, you mentioned, who's been brought on to write the Blade movie. That's an interesting insight to perhaps the mindset of Disney Marvel, because you look at what she's done before. She's worked on the Watchmen TV show recently. That get really good write-ups, apparently very, very good. Hunters, obviously that Nazi hunting crazy shit show with obviously Al Pacino on Amazon. So she's got a good pedigree of writing in TV. Remains to be seen whether she'll make the jump over to film. I think she will, and working with Mahershala Ali, it's going to be easy, man. That guy's gold. What an actor he is. You've watched him in the round tables and stuff. He's just amazing to watch, let alone act in front of you. So that's interesting to see that they're not going for maybe established writers. They're looking for up-and-coming names who can make a name for themselves. So, again,
I think as well for tone. Yeah, I think for tone, John, with the Blade sort of property as well, it's I think it's a good choice. I think it's a different tone to what we're used to in the MCU. It depends. They might change that, but I think it will have a darker tone than some of the MCU stuff. And I think bringing this writer on, I think it's very interesting, John. But it's good to see they are taking chances on the up and coming writers.
And I still want to see Morbius in that Blade movie. He has to come over. Jared Leto, get him in the MCU, man. Make it so number one is Patrick Stewart. I used to always have to think about Patrick Stewart. I want to say Swayze. I don't know why. But Patrick Stewart, I've got some obsession with Next Generation just now. I don't know why. I've not watched it in about 30 years, but I'm obsessed with it, man. 30 years? I'm 32. I wasn't watching the Next Generation when I was 2. Ridiculous.
I know you're a fan, but I know you're not a bigger fan,
John. Don't talk shit, man.
We're going to move on swiftly, John. I'll pull you out that hole. And it's all about Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead Netflix movie gets a release date. This is coming in from techradar.com. I'm not familiar with this website, John. But same kind of layout, isn't it? One thing we will talk about first, John, Zack Snyder's actually been on Twitter. He's very active on social media. And he tweeted out the most horrendous image
Yes.
Not the actual capture of the image. The capture of the image is an absolute belter, but the quality of the image,
Yeah, it's very low.
not so good. Yeah, and that's why we were going to
discovered?
headline with this, but we couldn't get a thumbnail, or you couldn't get a thumbnail to sort of
I tried.
to compliment.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
It's a poster, in fairness. It's hard to sort of orientate that.
John, I did put on I put on the thumbnail on our community section of our channel earlier today, and I think it was as good enough as I could get it for that, but as a thumbnail it just wouldn't look right. But Army of Dead, Zack Snyder's upcoming zombie heist movie, will arrive on Netflix on May 21st. Taking to his personal Twitter account to reveal the movie's release date, Snyder also confirmed that the first trailer would land on February 25th, which is this Thursday, I think.
Yes.
The announcement was accompanied by a teaser poster, which gives us a glimpse at the gory, Vegas-style undead action that we can expect to see later this year. Snyder's latest Army of Dead drop comes over a month after fans got a first look at the action horror title. Back then, we were given a brief glimpse at the movie's cast, but Thursday's trailer will offer a prime introduction to the Justice League and Watchmen director's forthcoming flick, which in his is first for Netflix. It's also his first, John.
Or 5 or something.
I think it's his first dip into the zombie horror genre since 2004's
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. Is it Day of the Dead? I couldn't remember what it was. But John, the poster's there anyway. It's on Twitter at Zack Snyder. I love the font. I'll say that first and foremost. I love that font.
And I like that little thing down the bottom. Survivor takes all. Survivors take all.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
It's
isn't it?
cool,
I like
it's a cool poster. It is. I love the hands coming out the little hatch. Puts me in mind of Miller and Carter, Stephen. Miller and Carter, the great steakhouse here in Glasgow.
The vault.
Glasgow.
Yeah, the bank vault. Yeah.
It's an old bank, and you go down to the toilets, and the toilets are in the old bank vault, so that puts me in mind of that. I was always scared to get locked in there, man. I have to tell you, it's a big old heavy door. Never did though. Only been once. I need to go back again. That's the first
well, especially John, if you're talking about steakhouses and you've saw that episode of Tales from the Crypt, the Christopher Reeve meatloaf one, you would be terrified. Is it steak I'm eating?
It's definitely steak, and it's good steak. And if it's meatloaf, I don't give a shit. There you go. I'll still eat it. Stephen, look, I'm looking forward to this movie, man. I think it's ripe. The fact we're already getting a spin-off TV show tells me that he has got something special in his midst. When Zack marries with this, is that even the right word, marries with this genre, it seems to work. Because we've seen it with, obviously, Dawn of the Dead. It was a great zombie movie. One of my favourite ones. It came out the same year as Shaun of the Dead, I think.
Not that much, I couldn't remember what it's called.
Steve, my memory of it was always the old guy getting shot in the head from the roof of the mall. That was a great scene for me.
My first sort of my thing I think of is obviously the Johnny Cash intro when the man comes around. That song, it was just something I thought. I didn't think you could marry Johnny Cash music with a zombie flick, but it worked.
Did it have spikes in the wheels or something as well? Didn't it?
I can't remember.
I think there was something going on with the vehicle.
It's been a while. It's a film I need to go back and see, John.
Yeah, Steve, it was a great zombie movie, and again, that's maybe a foreshadowing what we're getting here, but it won't be because it's not. This isn't an out-and-out zombie movie. It's a heist movie set within a zombie apocalypse, and I think that's going to distinguish it. I think it'll be really... Stephen, we always talk about trying to jazz up these horror genres, jazz up pre-established genres in general, and the zombie genre, I'm saying genre that much now, I'm saying genre, I can't speak. When you start saying words again and again, they start losing meaning. You think, what the hell does it even mean, genre? What is genre? I don't know if you ever get that, Stephen, getting off on a tangent when you look at a word and sometimes
it doesn't make any sense.
It looks wrong. Sometimes I'll look at that and I'm like, what the fuck is that? That ain't a word. So that's what happened to me there, Stephen, when I was seeing genre. But we always talk about genres, jazzing them up and doing something different. This is a prime example of doing something unique within an original genre. Zombie apocalypse heist, ain't seen that done very often. We've seen a heist taking place in a pandemic. I think Anne Hathaway movie, but this is going to be interesting. It's got a great cast. I think Batista's in it, and I love Batista. He's just a funny, charismatic guy. So all the signs are pointing to it being the usual trademark Zack Snyder movie. With all of his flourishes, sort of stylistic flourishes, kind of like 300 and stuff like that. And as I says, it's got a TV show already green lit, a spin-off. So there must be something there. The characters must be popping. because some executive at Netflix who says, I like him, get them back for a TV show. So I'm looking forward to this, man. It can't come quick enough. It's not long away. And
No.
if that poster's anything to go by, we're in for a good time. There's blood going down the hatch, and there's zombies trying to get in, and they're stuck in there with the money. So hopefully it's not an Italian job set up where they get the money.
Well, it comes out on Thursday, John. The trailer. We'll probably have to do a reaction for that, possibly on Friday. But I'm looking forward to it. That's assuming we're getting it over here on Netflix as well.
Oh, we will, yeah.
Assuming Netflix UK will get it. But John, we'll move on to our next topic, and it's one that you've actually brought to us, which is very interesting.
Hawke, so much.
It's it's John. It's a guy I followed in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then kind of just dropped off my radar. I don't know about yourself, but it just seemed to disappear. But yeah, and this is coming in from MovieWeb. It was actually replacing a topic we were going to talk about, The Curse of Monkey Island, but
I can't dig
that is a show on itself if we were to go down that rabbit hole, so we kind of just shifted that for the time being anyway. I loved the franchise, John. I loved the LucasArts game back in the day. I think that was the third installment of the Monkey Island Curse. I'm sure it was.
I can't remember that.
Second or third,
Escape Monkey.
But anyway, we're not talking about that anyway. We're talking about Ethan Hawke, and it's coming in from MovieWeb. Why Ethan Hawke said yes to being the villain in Marvel's Moon Knight Disney Plus series.
Yes.
Now, I missed news of the release of the Snyder Cut and characters from Fox's X-Men movie showing up in the MCU's WandaVision. A startling bit of news in the comic book movie community slipped quietly under the radar recently. Ethan Hawke, who has a long history of somewhat dismissive towards the comic book movie genre, was announced to be playing the main villain in the upcoming Moon Knight Disney Plus series starring Oscar Isaac. In a recent interview, Hawke explained why he agreed to do the project, and this is what he had to say. Well, it's where I'm at as an actor. A lot of it, to be honest. I love the fact that Moon Knight is a lesser known story and allows more creative freedom. The director is Mohamed Diab, and he's a brilliant guy. A lot of it is Oscar to me. To be honest with you, I find him to be a very exciting player in my field. I like what he's doing with his life. He reminds me of the actors when I first arrived at New York that I looked up to. Oscar's younger than me, and I like the way he carries himself, and I like the way he thinks. And in general, good things happen when you're in the room with people that you think that you like the way they think. Right? You have to speak to your I'm having a mare here, John.
Steve, it's a terrible quote. The English is broken as hell. Ethan's clearly been smoking a joint before he said this, because you have
to speak to your time, right? You can't pretend you don't live in the time period that you live in. You have to try to make your time period better. John, I have made more sense of Bob Dylan when he's high than that quote. but I get he's twist. It clearly loves Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, it's very strange. Stephen, look, I love Oscar Isaac as well. I think he's a great actor, man. I've watched that guy for well over a decade now. I'm pretty sure he was in Inside Llewellyn Davis. I'm pretty sure he was in it. I may be mistaken. Folk singer, great performance. He's been in a wide variety of different roles. Of course, he was in that Netflix movie most recently with, I'm trying to remember, I think Charlie Hunnam was in it and quite a few other people. Pedro Pascal, I think, was in it as well. That was a great little action sort of movie set in the, I want to say, what do you call those sort of downtrodden shithole areas in the south of America? What are they called again, Stephen? You know what I'm talking about?
Ghettos.
Shanties, things like that.
Shanty.
It's round about there, yep. It was a decent movie, so what I'm getting at is this guy can do everything, Oscar, so I'm a big fan of Oscar Isaac too. It's very intriguing to see how he's going to sort of coalesce, if that's the correct word. Acquiesce, that's probably the better word. I use big fancy words at this time of the night. It's not a good combination. Acquiesce to the role of Moon Knight, because it's a very colourful character. This guy's a very traditional sort of character. I think he's rocking about with swords and stuff like that. A lot of talk of Keanu Reeves playing him, but of course Oscar's got it now. And look, man, Ethan's a very interesting guy. He's been down a very strange independent route in the last decade or so, that much like Nick Cage, he's sort of shunned the blockbuster movies in Hollywood, and he's went down his own route, and he says it there. The reason he's took this role on is purely because it's lesser known, the story, and there's more creative freedom. He doesn't feel as though there's executives buttoned their nose in, but Kevin Feige will be buttoning his nose in, but I'm sure he's well respected, as I did say, and he's not seen as a sort of executive figure. They'll listen to Kevin. Mohamed Diab, I've looked at this guy, I'm looking at his IMDb just now. I don't really know a lot about what he's done, Stephen, I can't lie. The Island 2, Footsteps of a Devil, The Island. He's very much an independent filmmaker, so again, much like I says about the writer for Blade, they're giving chances to new up-and-coming filmmakers, lesser known names, and that's what I says before with these TV shows, why I'm intrigued by this, because it's going to give chances to new blood coming up. Steve, we were speaking about it before as well, man, the lesser known actors in the MCU at the start. It's the same with directors. Directors were very much unknowns, sort of rising stars, the likes of the Russos. They weren't established names beforehand. Josh Whedon, Favreau was probably, but it's been lesser known figures who have been doing it. Kenneth Branagh, I mean, how many movies had he done before he'd done 4? Probably a lot. I think he'd done a Shakespeare movie in the 90s, so probably a lot. But what I'm getting at is this is sort of what Marvel have been doing over the last 15 odd years or so. They've been giving chances to new blood. So getting off on a winding tangent there, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing. I don't know who the hell he's playing in this, who the villain is, but the fact that he's in it, he's got the passion, he's loving Oscar. I'm sure that'll make for a strange experience watching it. This villain loves the actual protagonist, but I don't.
So it's very interesting to see in the article as well. Ethan Hawke is not the biggest advocate of comic book films.
Oh, he's made some comments, hasn't
you can say that a lot. You can say that about a lot of actors anyway that are not that interested. But the one thing about comic book movies is the source material. There's something for everyone in there. I'm pretty sure they could even find a slot for Jodie Foster in there.
Oh, no,
guaranteed
no, that's too far.
And Amanda Seyfried as well, who's not a big fan of comic book as well. John, I think it's great from Mamma Mia. I'm glad to see Ethan Hawke's, dipping his toes in here, John, because I think it's great to see him coming back into some sort of limelight. I don't think he's ever going to be, at the forefront like he was in the sort of early 2000s. A very big name back then. He's still a big name, but he's very, as you said, he's very much like Nicolas Cage. He has kind of just decided he's had enough of the sort of A-list sort of blockbuster films and wants to do his own thing, and rightly so. He's got nothing to prove to anyone. He's been there, done it. Been in some amazing films in the early 2000s as well, as the lead man, and it's just great to see that he's coming back, and he's speaking very highly of Oscar Isaac, and it's going to be. I'm looking forward to seeing Oscar Isaac as well, John, in this film, because
it's a TV,
everything I've seen.
It's a film. I'm not sure if it's a film or a TV.
Sorry, it's a television series. It's for Disney Plus. I think
is it?
Everything I've seen Oscar Isaac in, and I don't think I've seen him as far back as yourself, John, but whether it be big franchises or independent films, it always brings his A game. And that's what I think he's going to do the same here as well.
Absolutely. Stephen, look,
Apocalypse wasn't the greatest film, John, but he was excellent in it.
Exactly, Stephen, that's what it says. He can do everything. He can play villains. He can play rogues. He can play a Han Solo type character. He can play folk singers. This guy is just an all-rounder. Great actor. I looked at villains. He can't play Bushman, who's the arch-villain of Moon Knight, because Bushman's black and Ethan Hawke's not black, and that'd be cultural appropriation, and we'd have the Hounds of Hell coming down upon him if he tried that. Only Robert Downey Jr. can do that, and he get the blessing of Jamie Foxx, who was involved in that movie. Stephen, Killer Shrike is probably the one I want to see. If you search this Killer Shrike character up, I can picture Ethan Hawke, purple suit, a sort of gold eagle, and a gold feathered sort of thing going on at the top. I want to see that. That's it, Killer Shrike. You better be playing Killer Shrike in this TV show. That looks absolutely
watch that
nuts.
face.
It looks nuts.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to see.
Well, hopefully, John, when
Killer
it is
Shrike.
announced, and he is announced as that character, then we can say we called it, or you can. But we're going to move on.
The God Butcher many moons before Christian Bale was cast as God the God Butcher. So there you go. I've got my finger in the pulse at MB.
We have to maybe have to look that one out, John, and clip it. And just tell everyone, if you want your exclusive, come to MBE. We know what we're talking about. But anyway, we know what we're talking about, John, and our next 3 topics is going to prove that.
We know what we're talking about here. We definitely
Well, we do because we did it
reacted.
last week, and unfortunately, because of sound issues, and I was the host, it didn't really work out. We would have got away with it if you were hosting, John, and you were reading the articles. We could have just ignored my sort of, you know what I mean? But anyway, Baahubali star, Baahubali star Prabhas announces. I'm trying to clip this, John. Make it sound natural, okay? Baahubali star Prabhas announces new film for pan-India release. Where have I heard this before? Of course, last week when I tried to do it. Baahubali star Prabhas has announced his new film. It's not much of a new film now because it's a week old, this news story, John, but a love story titled Drishyam, which would release in theatres on 30th of July 2021. The film co-stars Pooja Hedge and directed by Radhakrishna Kumar. The announcement of the film, which has been shot simultaneously in Telugu and Hindi to woo pan-Indian audiences, especially in the wake of the COVID-19 lockdown having wreaked havoc on the cinema business. Coincident with the Valentine's Day celebrations to highlight the theme of the movie, John. Yep. We talked about it last week, of course, but we did the reaction to the postcard trailer thing, didn't we?
Yeah, it was like a motion poster.
Yeah, it was the first for us anyway. It's very hard to react to as well. But we did, you know, and it's Baahubali, John. I was going to say it's two of our greatest films that we've watched so far from Indian cinema, but I don't count it as two films. I count it as one film, one story over two parts. But Prabhas, John, we've not really talked about him for a little while. One of the things that I did notice when we talk about Baahubali, it's action, it's a cinematic sort of experience. But one of the things we didn't really touch on was Prabhas is a very good actor in the sense of being a dramatical actor and, of course, having that sort of on-screen chemistry with a female lead as well. So I can understand why he's taken this role on, because I think he's got the sort of charisma to carry a love story. I think he's obviously got the draw for being a very big name in India as well, but I think he's got the acting chops to try different genres, do different genres, and do it very well.
Stephen, he's an out-and-out ladies man, let's be honest. That is Prabhas. He's a superstar. They say they are pan-Indian superstar. So this is a guy that can connect with all the various different regions of India, and that's why he's making a movie. He's making it in a bilingual style, Telugu and Hindi. So this guy, he's absolute dynamite. We watched him in Baahubali. He was the absolute star of the piece, alongside Rana Dagibati, I think it was, that played Balala Deva. He was great as well as a villain.
He was fantastic, yeah.
So we know that what this guy's capable of, and we reacted to the motion poster, and it was an interesting experience, Stephen, let's be honest. It was going through this train, various different scenes. It looked as though scenes from different time eras. The one thing we got at the end was him dangling off the edge of the train with the leading female star, and I don't know who the leading female star is. I'm sure it says it there in the actual article.
Pooja Hedge, whether or not it says co-stars, so I'm assuming it is.
So we know look at the general vibe. It's going to be a love story. It's going to be about these two characters. That's the general vibe I'm getting. And as you did say, we've seen it in Baahubali, although a little creepy at times because he was stalking the girl from the sort of plateau region. He was stalking her, sort of touching her under the water and stuff like that. A little bit creepy. But we know that this guy can connect well with a female lead. So it's going to be interesting, Stephen. I would be interested in watching this movie because it's the one genre we've not touched upon. Romantic sort of genre. Yep. We've done action. We've done sports stories. Really rousing stories like Dangal. We've done out-and-out fantasy like Baahubali and stuff like that. And of course we watched Master recently, and that was a nice sort of mixture of different themes and genres. So this is the one genre we've not done, and judging by the motion poster and just Prabhas himself, I'm on board to watch this guy. Just look at the guy on the screen, man. Look at him. Look at that suit. Just what an actual figure of a guy he actually is, man. Why would you not screwed it? Why would you not want to watch it? So yeah, I'll be on board for that when it comes out. Steve, we actually need to go back and watch more Prabhas movies as well. That's something we've not really we've been down the telepathy train now, but we need to get back and see some of Prabhas's big hits.
John, that's the thing I love about this journey is there's so much variation. There's so much options, and the community does keep us on the right track. With these excellent recommendations, John. And this brings us on to our next topic, and it's our community that actually drew me to this one because one of our subscribers actually said we should react to Drishyam 2 movie review and release as a best crime thriller of Malayalam cinema. Now, it's going to be very difficult to talk about the film because, John, it's the second part. We've not seen the first part, but it was just because someone did recommend us, and we do have Drishyam 2 on our list to react to. But I'll just read this little article first, John, and then I'll let you in because I really do want to see the first part now because after reading this, it sounds really interesting. So
we're getting blow updates as well, Stephen. Reactions from social media and stuff like that. Actors and people from the industry over in India reacting live to watching this movie. It's on Amazon Prime, so again, it's very accessible for us. Like most of the Indian stuff we've been watching, it's on streaming services, so that's great for us.
Exactly, John. But Mohanlal, I can't speak. Mohanlal Star Drishyam 2 has released today, not today, it was a couple of days ago now, and is now streaming on Amazon Prime Video. The story of George Cutty and his family picks up after the events of the first film, where the family went through a trauma but were somehow able to pull off a perfect murder. But is there something like a perfect murder? We get the answer to the question when ghosts of the past come back to haunt George Cutty. Alongside Mohanlal, Drishyam 2 also stars Meena and Siba Hassan, Esther Anil, Asha Sarif and Siddiq, among others. Jethu Joseph has directed the film. From what we gathered from the trailer, and we'll have to react to this, John, soon, George Cutty has become a much wealthier man now. He now owns a theatre and is even planning to produce a film. Things seem to be getting difficult for him and his family, and now the murder case from Drishyam is reopened and the family is pulled back into the investigation. That sounds amazing, John. I don't know how we don't know about this film.
Stephen, it's interesting because obviously with us going down this sort of voyage into Indian cinema, we've been getting lots of reactions, a lot of blow-by-blow accounts of what's been going on. As you can see, I'm clapping my dog here. He's decided to plop his ass down at the side of me, so just show off this absolute stunning beast it is, this 6.5 stone fox red Labrador. We know that they're popular over in India, Stephen. Good friend Praveen, he had a Labrador, so we know hugely popular dogs. Not really bringing anything to Drishyam 2, but I thought I'd fling that in there anyway. Stephen, it looks as though it's getting really good feedback. I'm reading the reactions just now on this little blow-by-blow sort of live feed from the Indian Express. Are saying outstanding thriller. Filmmaker Zack shared on Facebook, Drishyam 2, super exciting, outstanding thriller, must-watch film, congratulations to all. So I'm looking at it all and it seems to be quite unanimous. The praise, it's mind-blowing, brilliant filmmaking. It's outstanding, a well-made sequel, and that's a really hard thing to do as well, Stephen. We've known that from even Western cinema. You have that sort of sequel syndrome. Try to better, or even just get a similar experience to the first movie if it's been a huge hit, or if it's even an okay hit and people have connected to the characters, to the themes. Try to reintroduce that with a new story, better it. It's always something that's very hard to do. It looks as though this director's managed to accomplish it, though. It's getting widespread acclaim from all spheres of that industry over there. We've got actors, we've got directors from other movies. Really missed the theatre experience, someone says, so they've obviously went to the theatre to see it, the lucky shits. That's something we'll be doing very soon, Stephen. Our country is opening up over the next few months. I hope there's a big Indian release hits the theatres over here as well. I'd love to go and watch one of those movies in a theatre over here, and we know they do hit the theatres over here, so if this gets a theatrical release at some point, I will absolutely give it a bash, but I don't think it will, because as I did say, it's on Amazon Prime, so...
Yeah, I think as well, John, I think once these films are announced on a streaming, then that's where they're going, but it's going to be very interesting. I think when we do the trailer reaction to Drishyam 2, I think we'll probably do the reaction to the first movie as well, I think just to accompany it, because I think... I'm very interested to see the films now, but I do want to see the trailers first and foremost. But you're absolutely right. That's going to bring us into our final topic, John. Just what you said in regards to our cinemas opening up, because obviously, we're going to be able to get more access to Western films where we are in our neck of the woods, but. in the neck of the woods in India, we are getting some release dates now, and it's Akshay Kumar's
You try to find
Bell.
that article on Forbes, Stephen?
John, I'll tell you
nightmare.
something. Forbes on iPads does not work.
Nope.
I had to get into a desktop version of it
Doesn't
because
work
it was
on
coming up
PC
with
either. Shit.
it was coming up with a large image of Akshay Kumar, and I was like, I can't see any words. I just see his forehead. But
tell you
I've
what, he's
managed to
looking good,
get it.
He's looking
Yeah,
good. In New
I'll
York.
tell you something. The guy just looks cool as anything. Look at that hair. But Akshay Kumar, this is coming in from Forbes, as we said, John, as BellBottom, and Atrangi Ray gets release dates with more films hitting Indian theatres in 2021. John, I know you're glad it's me, but I'll tell you something. Before we go down the rabbit hole of doing these articles, I will read these over and over, and sometimes they roll off the tongue, and sometimes they just don't. So I just have to.
Yeah, I just. A hard one.
I'll just have to accept that sometimes I will make a total arse of it. But John, the release dates, I'm just going to read this article actually because I like to put myself under these sort of pressures. And the release dates for two of Akshay Kumar's films, BellBottom and Atrangi Ray, were announced on Friday. BellBottom is slated to hit theatres on May 28th, while Atrangi Ray will release on August 6, 2021. The films are likely to accelerate business for theatres that are yet to be back on track in India after the 7-month shutdown that ended in October last year. Oh, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. A teaser for BellBottom that features Huma Qureshi, Laura Dutta, Vani Cooper and Adil Hussain in the lead roles was unveiled on Friday. Many major films went from digital-only release last year, fearing long-term impact of the pandemic as cinemas remain shut down for months. Kumar's horror comedy Lakshmi, I think we reacted to it, John.
It was dynamite.
Surreal. Also landed online in 2021 alongside several other big-ticket films, including Vijay Balan's Shakuntala Devi. Here we go. Amitwa Bakhchan's Gulabu Sitabu and Javi Kapoor's starrer Gungan Saxena, the Cargill Girl. Oh, it's so late, and I think I did well. However, many filmmakers decided to wait it out and postpone their movies. Earlier this year, the Indian government allowed cinema halls to function in full capacity. After the order, many major films have been confirmed for theatrical release, including Salman Khan's Radhe Your Most Wanted By, some title, which is slated for release on Eid 2021. John, it's just like you were saying there, finally we're going to come out of this other side of this shutdown, this lockdown, and we will be able to access the films that we're used to seeing, and the ones that have been sort of held back. And you're absolutely right. Most of me really wants to see more Indian films being released here in the UK and Glasgow, where we are. Sadly, I think it's going to be the film theatre here in Glasgow that will probably be more accessible to get these films. Mm-hmm. But the other question is, John, that with Indian cinema now being, or Indian cinemas now sort of open to full capacity, do you think there'll be more, would you think there'll be less films being released on the likes of Amazon Prime? Because I think we've had this luxury for the last 6 months where we've had a lot of access to a lot of Indian cinema on Netflix, on Amazon Prime, on VOD as well. Yep. Do you think that will? Do you think this will slow down? Do you think it'll end up? We'll not get these films as accessible right away?
Probably not, Stephen, because as we used to do box office breakdowns, and there was big Indian releases hitting the top 10. I was completely ignorant to them back then, but there was huge hits coming into the box office because we've got a huge Indian sort of community here, Scotland, United Kingdom in general. So I think we will see some of the huge hits getting into theatres over here, and it'll be a longer period until they hit the streaming services. I still think there'll be a lot of Indian releases going straight to Amazon Prime over in the United Kingdom though. But maybe that the likes of Akshay Kumar's movies, the likes of BellBottom, maybe ones that do hit the streaming service, I don't know. We'll just need to wait and see how it plays out, Stephen. But I do think the likes of like a Baahubali or a Master, or maybe even a KGF or something like that, that would, I think, hit the theatres over here. I don't think we'd see that going straight to Amazon Prime. It's just too big a release, plain and simple. We've got comments here. I cannot read them because, to be quite frank with you, I'm blind as a bat. Say something about Buck sent us. Hi, how you doing? Nice to see you. Thank you for sending us, whoever that is. I don't know, we do not have access to any sort of shit going on over on Twitch. It's just comments hitting on Streamlabs. We're complete goons when it comes to Twitch. We stream primarily on YouTube, and we use Streamlabs, whatever the hell it is, man, the premium Prime, to sort of restream over to Twitch as well. So thank you for coming over and watching us. We do appreciate it. We're hitting the end here. We're hitting a wall. It's very, very late. It's 5 to 1 in the morning here, man. So we are doing our best not to make complete tits of ourselves. Kevin Feige sent me. Kevin Feige sent you all. Can you give me Kevin Feige's direct number then, man? I'd like to speak to Kevin Feige. Stephen, I can't read these comments, man, but I do appreciate them coming in anyway. But yeah, Stephen, I've been looking at it. BellBottom. BellBottom looks very interesting, man. We've got Akshay Kumar sitting on a car. He's in a suit. Looks superb to me. I'd give it a bash.
1992.
The other one doesn't look so good. It looks a bit, to be quite frank, it looks a bit poor. It's a comedy, musical, romantic drama thing, and it's getting poor ratings, so yeah, can't speak on that one. But BellBottom, for sure, does look decent to me. I'm going to read the comments here, Stephen. I'll put you on, man. Yeah,
John, I think, just before you do, I think May 28th for BellBottom is what it's been slated for its release in theatres in India, and Atrangi is the 6th of August. I don't think we're going to get these films. I think possibly, I think we'll get them on the streaming channels as well, streaming platforms, sorry. I don't think we'll be getting these kind of films in cinema. And I think you're right. I think it's going to be the big hitters that we're going to get over here, and I still think we don't get access to the big hitters in the sort of large chains here in Glasgow, which is a shame. You know, I've never seen.
Glasgow, Stephen, let's be honest.
No, not foreign anyway, John. Not I think there is an ignorance, you know, and I think our best bet would be the Glasgow Film Theatre to see any Indian releases. Sadly, no, it's not really sadly, because I think we'd be able to go and see the film in a theatre that we do enjoy, but I think, sadly, for wider audiences, they're not going to be exposed to these great films.
They won't, Stephen, that's a shame. But to be honest with you, I don't think the vast majority of Glasgow would be interested in watching things like that. As you do know, not the most cultured people are us. We like our drink and that's about it. But look, man, again, I don't know if that's been a raid over on Twitch, man. I don't know what the score is with people coming in, but we do appreciate you coming in, man. But again, complete goons on Twitch. We've not even got Twitch up, man. We've got no bots, nothing. It's a shambles. But we'll try and sort that out shortly. I do imagine we'll try and get our shit together on Twitch, Stephen. But look, that's going to round the show up, man. It's going to round it up. We are hitting the sack, as they do like to say over here. What is your thoughts on Fantastic Four, man? Do you want to see some up-and-coming writer getting a chance? You want to see some big name getting a chance? Who do you want to see cast as the Fantastic Four, man? Do you want Emily Blunt, Krasinski, someone else? You can comment below if you've got anything to say. You can also speak about the other the topics we've been talking about. Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, Ethan Hawke playing a villain in Moon Knight. It's all very interesting, isn't it? You can comment down below if you've got anything to say. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Hit the follow button over on Twitch if you want to see more content like this. If you can even understand me, you're doing good, because that's me speaking very, very quickly. But look, guys, until then, if you do, I'll see you. If you don't, bid you farewell, man. Bye-bye. Good night.